Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about how a global crisis completely flipped the world of DJing on its head. And our guide for this is someone who didn't just study this whole shift, he actually lived it. We're diving into the work of Dr. Ronnie Rodas. He's got a Ph.D. in information technology, but he's also a live streaming music video DJ who goes by the name Video DJ Rontech. Just like so many others, when the pandemic shut everything down, he took his gigs online, to platforms like Twitch, giving him this incredible first-hand view of a revolution in the making.
So let's start with this question. In 2020, where did the dance floor go? I mean, before all this, the answer was easy, right? It was in clubs, at festivals, at parties. But when the entire world went into lockdown, millions of us, and the whole DJ industry, had to find a totally new space to connect. Not just with the music, but, with each other.
To really wrap your head around just how massive this disruption was, we have to remember the one thing, the one fundamental rule that the entire world of DJing was built on.
And that rule was physical presence. That was it. The whole culture, the entire economy of being a DJ, your career, your income, the art itself, it was all tied to being in a room with other people. Clubs, festivals, weddings, you name it. It was about packing a space and sharing an experience, together.
And then, it just stopped. I'm not talking about a slowdown. This was a full-on, lights-out, global shutdown. And it happened so fast, in just a matter of weeks. Almost overnight, all of those essential physical places just vanished. And that left this huge void for audiences, and honestly, an existential crisis for DJs.
So with the stage gone, DJs had to improvise a digital one. And let's be clear, this was not some planned gradual transition. It was an emergency pivot. It was a mad scramble to get back in front of people using whatever tools you could get your hands on.
And this is so important to picture. We are not talking about slick, professional broadcast studios here. No way. This was a global wave of rapid-fire DIY improvisation. It was all happening in people's bedrooms, their basements, their living rooms. It was this incredible grassroots movement fueled by whatever you could buy online, basic webcams, simple audio gear, and free software like OBS.
And what's so fascinating is where they all ended up. It wasn't on music-first platforms. No, they flocked to places like Twitch, a platform built from the ground up for streaming video games. All of a sudden, these gaming sites were being completely repurposed into the world's biggest virtual nightclubs. They became the only stages left for a global music scene that had suddenly become homeless.
So you might be thinking, okay, so people were just watching some DJ play music on a laptop, but it became so much more than that. The research shows that these streams really quickly evolved into something way deeper. They started serving this fundamental human need for connection, especially during a time when we were all so isolated.
I mean, this quote here just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? For millions of people, these streams became rituals. They were appointments you kept. If you were one of those people who turned your kitchen into a dance floor on a Friday night, well, you were part of this massive, unspoken cultural shift. It was our way of clawing back a little piece of normal life.
And this brings us to a brilliant concept from the research, the lonely raver. I love that term. It just perfectly captures the paradox of the whole experience, right? The feeling of being physically by yourself in your room, but at the same time feeling deeply connected to thousands of other people through the music and, of course, the live chat. These weren't just passive broadcasts. They were living, breathing, interactive social spaces.
Okay, so you have this amazing, vibrant new scene built on pure improvisation and community spirit. But it was all standing on a very, very fragile foundation. And that foundation was about to get a serious reality check.
And the problem was the big one: copyright music. See, in a physical club, it's pretty straightforward. The venue pays the licensing fees for the music. It's a system that's been around for ages. But online? Whoa. The legal framework was a total mess. The responsibility suddenly shifted to the individual DJs and the platforms. And, frankly, nobody was really prepared for that. And of course, as these streams got more and more popular, the music industry took notice. By the middle of 2020, the labels started unleashing these massive waves of DMCA takedown notices. That's the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. All of a sudden, streams were getting muted, archived videos were being deleted, and channels were getting copyright strikes that could get them banned for good. The whole party was suddenly at risk of being shut down. But here's the thing. This crisis didn't kill the scene, not even close. Instead, it forced an evolution.
It pushed the entire ecosystem to grow up and grow up fast, creating the permanent hybrid reality that we live in today.
So what we saw was this really interesting two-part response. First, you had the big general platforms like Twitch trying to adapt. They started adding official live DJ categories and trying to figure out licensing deals. But then, and this might be even more important, you saw brand new specialized platforms like LFG.TV pop up, built from the ground up for DJs, with systems designed to solve that copyright problem right from the start.
So the bottom line here is that this was not just some temporary fad that went away when things opened back up. Not at all. The pandemic permanently changed the job description for a DJ. Live streaming is now a core professional skill. A hybrid career, balancing real-world gigs with online ones, is the new normal. And audiences? We're now completely used to the idea of a digital club.
So, this brings us to the final question. Is the future of clubbing hybrid? And all the research points to a huge, definitive yes. The frantic anything-goes experiment of 2020 is over, and what's left in its place is a mature, established digital stage that exists right alongside the physical dance floor. It has forever changed what it means to be a DJ, and more importantly, where all of us can go to experience the music.